I'd like to introduce you to another Red River first, and it's this. Over here is the plaque of Mary Jones. She was one of the first people in the world, actually, I think, to realize that girls needed to be properly educated. Mary Jones was the wife of David Jones. David was the second missionary to the Red River. He succeeded John West in 1823. In fact, it probably was the case that when John was getting on the ship to go back to England, David was getting off. In 1828, David went back to England to marry his fiancée, Mary, and he brought her back to the Red River in 1829. Now, Mary was what was known in those days as an educationist. And one of her dreams was that the girls in the Red River would be educated at the same level as the boys. Now, in those days, ordinary girls, the daughters of ordinary people, were not educated to read or write or do arithmetic. What they did was they learned how to cook and sew and tend house and be mothers and wives and all the rest of it. However, Mary put down her little foot and said, no, girls should read and write and do arithmetic. And the only two people who supported her in this ambition were her husband, David, and George Simpson, the governor of the Hudson's Bay. Now that tells me that George, who had an eye for the ladies, thought that Mary was a rather pretty little thing, and so he supported her idea for teaching girls. And she got her way. And girls in the Red River spent their mornings with the boys in a classroom, learning how to read and write and do arithmetic. And in the afternoons, they'd split off, and the girls would go to what we now call home ec, and the boys would go off to what we now call shops. That's a first. Nowhere else in the world were girls educated at that level unless your family had some standing in the community. These were ordinary girls, daughters of ordinary people. Mary started teaching in 1829, and during her lifetime here, she bore 6 children, helped David with his missionary work, taught at the Red River Academy, and entertained visiting dignitaries, one assumes. In 1836, Mary gave birth to her 6th child and died shortly after. David was left with 5 children. His first son, John Lloyd, had died after birth, and so he was bereft. He had 5 children and no Mary, and in 1837 he returned to England with his small family. Mary is buried in our churchyard with her first child, John Lloyd. The children of the Red River Academy raised this plaque in Mary's memory because I believe they loved her as much as she loved them.